Hello everyone, it's Maria here from Sydney, Australia. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I've got a video of a different kind to my usual card making videos. I'm basically going to be showing you how to make this apron with that cool vinyl decal on this. Now, just as a disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with any of the companies that I will mention in this video. I am purely a fan. I'm going to be featuring my new Epson printer, my Brother Scan and Cut, and I'll also be featuring my new HTV Ront auto press. Now, the reason why I'm kind of branching out from card making is because I feel that for me, if I want to make this a business, which is what I'm looking at for the future, right now I'm learning, so I can't really start a business for myself when I'm still learning. But once I feel confident enough, I will be starting a business for myself where I'll be selling not just cards but different kinds of projects. I'll not be showing everything, of course, because I don't know everything. It's going to take me time, and I just want to learn at my own pace without pressure and to just do things that I enjoy from now on. I will still be making videos with cards, so don't get me wrong on that, but I will not be featuring as much Stampin' Up. You will see Stampin' Up things here and there, but it's not my predominant videos anymore. So there will be a change to this channel reflecting that as well, starting from today. My next video will probably feature a card or maybe another craft. I'm just having so much fun, and I think once you've done card making and you know how to craft, you can branch out and do so many cool things. Now, this image comes from Creative Fabrica. You can make this into a card, no problems as well. All you have to do is just reduce the size and your printing. So that's why I'm saying to you, Creative Fabrica is fantastic. Again, I'm not affiliated with this company. I am just purely a fan. I have a yearly subscription now because there's a lot of value with you being able to use images, like over 6 million images. You have access to fonts, images, all sorts of cool stuff with a commercial license, which is fantastic. You won't get sued, basically. So this is a gift that I'm giving away for Christmas, and I will show you how to make this. Now, what I'll be featuring is this image from Creative Fabrica. I will be having the link in the description below. I'm using Easy Color DTV. I'm using my new auto press, as I mentioned before, and my Brother Scan and Cut. So I will show you now step by step what I'll be doing, and then I will come back and I will go through what I've learnt from this process. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, hi everyone. So I'm just going to show you the images that I got from Creative Fabrica. I will link in the description below the exact set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my file and I'll open my recent, and I've already downloaded the file to my Silhouette Studio program. So I'm just going to click on Watermelon Slice Christmas Gifts. Okay, and these are the images I'll be using. That's from the file. So I'm just going to group all these together and just move them to the side. Then what I'd like to do is, as I showed you earlier, is I am going to heat press this image onto my apron for the gift that I'm making. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click onto duplicate. I'm going to take that across, and what I'm going to do is I want to change the size to 5 inches wide as the maximum. So I'm going to pick 5 inches, and now it's gone up to 5 inches. So I'm going to pop that here in the middle, and then I'm going to duplicate that. And now I have 2 images. So what I'll be doing is I will be printing these with my Caesar Easy Color DTV. And then you can do it, you know, several ways. You can use your Cricut to do the print then cut feature. You can use the Silhouette Studio software to also cut on your Silhouette. And you can use your print and cut feature. But today, just to be different, I'm going to show you how to use your Brother Scan and Cut. And when you print these off, you don't need to mirror the images, and you also don't need to put registration marks. If, for example, you wanted to use registration marks, what you do is you go to your page setup here, and then you go to this icon here, which has the registration mark. So you click on that and you press on, and I'd like to get maximum printing here so that you can make them go back. And then for this is you can make it go, let's see, sorry, you can go to advanced options here, click on that, and on the bottom insert, which is here, you can press this to go up. So all that will print is basically these three. So you've got your square here, your little right angle there, and another right angle corner there. And then that way you can save pretty much half of your A4 for another project as well if you wish to do it that way. But I'm not going to use my print and cut feature because I promised you I'm going to be using my Brother Scan and Cut to show you how this is done. So what I'll be doing next is I will be going to my file. I'll go to print. This looks good here. So go to print. Then I'm going to go to my settings for my printer. So I'm going to pick the Epson ET8550 series. Then I'll go to my preferences. So I'm using A4. I'm using borderless, portrait, plain paper, and the quality I'm going to go to best. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is pop this into my printer, and I will show you me doing that, and then I'll press OK. So let's pretend we're going to print that. We'll go print, and the next image I will show you, it says it's not ready, but I will print that off camera. You'll see me putting in the Caesar DT-Color, Easy Color DTV into the printer, loading it in, and then it will print that off for you. So just bear with me. I'm going to turn that off. Let's go OK. And just decline that for the moment because I've just bought myself a new printer. So we'll go to that in a minute, and I'll show you the image of me putting in the vinyl into the printer, and we'll go from there. So this is the Easy Color. It's called HTV here in Australia. I'm not sure if that's a unique Australian or Pacific branding. Instead of saying Easy Color DTV, but it is basically from the description it sounds exactly like it, and it has the same kind of images as the Easy Color DTV. So it couldn't be simpler with Easy Color. Use your inkjet home printer and craft cutter to print and cut out images, patterns, and even photos cleanly and precisely. Has a smooth matte surface and is suitable for all colours of fabric. So I would say it is the Easy Color DTV. If I'm incorrect, I will put up a note in the description just somewhere on the video to clarify that. But that's what I'm using. This is the newer stuff that was available at Spotlight. I presumed it was the Easy Color DTV. Now, it comes with actually 5 sheets of HTV and 5 sheets of the mask. So basically this is one sheet. Now this is quite glossy and it's got like a matte finish on the back. When you peel on one side, I'll just peel the corner. I'll just get that now. This is sticky, if you can hear that. So that means that this is a mask, okay? So that's quite glossy. Now, there is another sheet in there which is a little thinner. So you have a matte white side, and then underneath that you have a more dull, more shiny side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into my printer, and with my Epson, I pull out the bottom tray, and then I put this glossy side up because that's the way my printer takes up the paper, and I put it in until I feel resistance. Okay, so it's going in now. Now I'm going to go to my computer and I have to, whoops, type in my password because the screen turned off. Okay, and I've got my Silhouette Studio up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press print with the settings that I showed you earlier, and I'm going to press print now, and I'm using my Epson, and with my preferences I go to the plain paper, it's in colour and it's the best, and I'll click OK and I'll press print. Now, this is the first time I'm printing with this printer, but I'm just, oops, I think I've missed a step where I should be pushing that in, so I'll find out the hard way. If you're using an ET8550, you're probably going to be going, no, paper out. So I'll just push this in. That's what you're supposed to do. I'll press next and I'll say done. Yeah, when you load your paper, do push that bottom tray in. So now it's going to press to print it, hopefully. And so far it has taken it up, so I'm thrilled. We'll see how this turns out. It'll be very interesting. I thought it'd be good to do this in real time. And this is the second time I'm using this printer. And I'll be interested to see how this works. But I'll show you whilst we're waiting for that. I made this card using another image from Creative Fabrica, which is great, and it's on matte thick cardstock, and that turned out really nice, and I've got my logo there, but I think it's great, and it looks very realistic. I love that, and I didn't actually use the best colour, which I should have, but it still looks beautiful, and I like that it's subtle, so that was what I was going for, and I used less ink doing it that way. So now it'll be interesting to see how this prints through. So it's a very slow printer, so what I'll do is I'll keep this going and I'll speed it up, so we'll see it when it comes out. Okay, so this is now finished printing, and that is how it turned out. It is great. I love that. Now what I did here is I added a black box around this so that I can weed that easily. So I didn't show you that on the program, but if you want to, do that and actually print out the black. Now the reason why I did that is, as I said, it's to make this print easy, and what I'll be doing is I will be going on the inside, okay? And I'll just go slightly on the inside to make sure that I don't get any white bits. So I will be using my Brothers Scan and Cut next. I'm just going to let this dry off for a few minutes just to be sure that the ink absorbs into the HTV, and to make sure it doesn't, you know, bleed, and it doesn't smudge and everything when it goes through the rollers of my brother. So when you next see me, I will be having my Brothers Scan and Cut ready, and we'll go through the process of cutting this. Okay, thanks for that. Okay, so I have finished, as I showed you before, printing my watermelons. I'm doing 2 because I'm actually giving away 2, but you're only going to see me making 1 on camera. Okay, so these are my Christmas gifts actually, so you're seeing something that I'm actually using. So now I've got the vinyl on my Brother Scan and Cut mat. I'm going to open this, but before we do, what we're going to do is press the mat button, or the home button, and it says the carriage will move away from the initial position, keep your hands away from the carriage. That's fine. I'll press that. So now it just moved. Alright, now because of this being a vinyl, it needs to be kiss cut, or in the Brothers case, the Scan and Cut, it's called a half cut. So what I need to do is go to the settings with that wrench image there. I'm going to see if that, no, I'll do it up here, which looks better like that. Alright, so I'll press the wrench, and then I will go down using these little arrows here, where it says cut pressure auto. I'm going to press the plus. Oh no, keep going down, sorry. Cut pressure it's called, and I've got half cut. If you don't want half cut, you press minus. Hang on, go back. It says here, please ignore what I just said. It's got half cut, and you can actually adjust the pressure here, but we're leaving it on auto because we have an auto blade in this. If, however, you want it to cut harder, you can adjust the pressure for the half cut. But we want to turn the half cut on. So we press on. Now it's done. Now we press OK. Going back to the home screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to load my mat into the machine. Right, and I'm going to press that mat button again, and it will load it in for me. Alright, what I'm going to press now is scan. I'm going to say direct cut, and I'll press the scanner, rather scan and cut, and I'm going to change the wrench from 12 by 6 because that's what I used before. I'm going to use it to 12 by 12 because the image goes past the 6-inch line. Then I'm going to press OK. I'm going to choose colour because I have got colour and black and white on that vinyl. So I'm going to press OK. Then I'm going to press start, and now it's starting to scan. Now I did place some painter's tape to keep that in place to stop it from moving because the mat's not very sticky at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push these lines, not push the lines, but I'm going to select these lines and move away from any other debris and also the painter's tape. So I can scoot that across a little bit more. And I'll tell the brother scan and cut now, the scan and cut to cut around my weeding box that I printed in. And do it that way. In saying that, you can actually just print from your printer and use your scissors and fussy cut, but I'm lazy. I'm using my machine because I want precise cuts. So I'm going to press OK. So it's now recognising everything. And I'll press, that's around there, I'll press OK. So it's processing that. Then I will press this one. And I'll go in minus 0.2 to cut around the square. I'll press OK. So the square's only highlighted. So I'm going to cut this through twice because I think there's issues with that being recognised. So I'll press OK. We'll see what happens, and only the squares come up. So I'll press select, cut, and I'll start to cut, and I will go again, and I'll go start. So it's just detecting now the mat and the material. And this is a good test as well to see if the vinyl has cut. So what I'm going to do off camera here is I'm going to check, without unloading the mat, if it cut through. Because if it didn't, then I will have to, I'll just undo one of my painter's tape, the bottom ones. I'm just undoing the painter's tape, and I'm just checking to see if the kiss cut worked. And I don't think it did. So I'm going to press it in again. I'll just press OK, but I'm going to add a little bit more pressure because I don't think it worked. No, it didn't work. Okay, so I'll go select, oh no, actually, sorry, go back. I'll say cut. And then I'll say half cut. I'll go back to my settings and I'm going to do a half cut. I'm going to put a pressure of 2 and see what happens. Okay, so I'll press OK and see what happens, and then I'll press start. See what happens there, because sometimes it doesn't work. So this was a good way to test it and see if it actually works. So all mistakes are coming into it now. Now I'll have a quick look and see if that worked. And I had to increase the pressure by 2. But it's done now, so that's great. So it's finished cutting now, so I'll go OK. Then I will go back, go back, go back, and I'll frame the image again, and this time I'm going to go in where the watermelon is exactly. Then that way you can target the how it'll frame. So I'll press OK. So it's just recognizing. It might be a little light, so that's why it's not recognizing. If that's the case, I will change the from color. Now it recognized it. Brilliant. Excellent. Oops, sorry about that. So I'll press OK. Now, with that, I'm going to go in by 0.1. That will give me like the bleed line around it, so when I cut it there's no funny white bits. Okay, so I'll press OK. I'll press OK again. Then I'll say select, cut. Now it's processing, and now it will cut, and I'll press start. Okay, so it's now finished cutting, so I'm going to press OK, and I will press the mat. It says when unloading the mat, the position of the pattern on the mat will change. I have finished cutting. I did like a test cut with my weeding box, and that's fine. So now I'm going to press OK, and out it comes. So I will show you. I'll take off my painter's tape and show you exactly how that worked. Now that's why it's a good idea to do a weeding box, so you can see also, or you can do a test cut to see if it cut through. The auto blade did not work great, so I had to add extra pressure to cut it, and it worked. So I'll show you now. I'll take that off the mat, place the mat over here. Okay, so there's the weeding box, done, and now that's come off there. So it cut absolutely perfectly, and there's no funny white lines around the watermelon. So I'm going to turn this off, then you're going to see me weeding the project, which is very, very simple. And then I'll show you how to heat press this with my HTV Ront Auto Press. See you shortly. Okay, so now I've taken my scan and cut out of the picture, and I'm going to show you how it worked. So that's come off now, so it's easy to weed. Just take your time. Now, it curls up, and from the other videos I've seen that's perfectly normal. There's some left over. You can choose what you feel to do what you think is right for you for this one. You can do a small picture if you want to, and use it as an A6 size or whatever size is appropriate for you. But that's how it cut very cleanly, and if you can see here, because I went 0.1 into the border as an inset, not an offset, but I did put it inside, so it's an offset but -1 I used, and then I used a pressure of 2 for the half cut because it didn't cut on manual, on auto, so I had to increase the pressure a little bit. So that's a tip for you if you're using the Brothers Scan and Cut, and if yours doesn't work, that's what I used on mine and it worked great. And if you see around these cuts, it did a beautiful job. And I strongly suggest putting in a weeding box, or you can actually cut it yourself with scissors, but because, as I said, I'm lazy, I'll be using my machinery. Alright, so next I will show you my heat press, and I'll be pressing one of these into the project. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, so this is my HTV Ront Auto Heat Press. This will be the first time actually I'm using it for a project, and basically I am reading the instructions from Caesar that to preheat this we need to go at 155 degrees Celsius or 311 Fahrenheit with medium pressure for 15 seconds, and you peel it warm. Now I don't have control over the pressure of this machine, so it's going to be firm, which is I think a good idea, but we'll see together if it turns out or not. Okay, so I'm using a black apron. Here it is, it's brand new and it is 100% cotton, and it's a beautiful black apron. So it kind of looks like linen, but it's a cotton. So what I'm going to do before I do this is I'm going to keep this on, because the recipient, I want them to know that it is a brand new item and it has not been used before. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, to heat this up, I'm going to press that on, and I'm going to heat it. I've got it in Celsius, so I'm going to press that, and I will go up to 115. Press that again to set it, and the time to be 15 seconds. So I will let that heat up. I will speed up the process, but I'm sure it's not going to take long. I'll let you know at the end how long it takes for the heat press to heat up. At the moment it's cool to touch, but we'll see. Okay, so we'll let that to continue on, and I'll be back with you again once it's heated up. So my heat press has come to heat. It's heated up to its proper temperature, which is 115 degrees Celsius or 311 degrees Fahrenheit. That's correct, 311. So I'm going to preheat my my blank or my apron. Now, because I have this up here, I don't want it to be pressed, so I'm going to angle it away. I'll do it this way to make it easier for myself. I'll just get a lint roller, just bear with me. Okay, so I've got a lint roller and I'm going to lint roll my garment here, my apron, to make sure that there are no funny bits on there. And it's amazing what comes off, because if you use that, I'll make sure it's flat, and I have my bits and pieces to the side. I think it works best if it's onto the side, because I've seen several videos of people trying to put bulky things at the back, and I don't think it works with this heat press. So you're better off just doing things to the side, I think, especially when it comes to hoodies and things like that. I've seen a great video by Carly Hall who showed doing things to the side actually works incredibly well. And you can also use a Cricut heat mat if you want to bring things up so you don't press the seams and have uneven results. So The seams aren't very big, so I'm going to put the Cricut heat press underneath that just to ensure. I've got a little heat press. This is 8 inches by 10 inches, so it's a teeny tiny one, and it works underneath even though the it's not very big. Okay, so I'm going to press this for 5 seconds, and I'll now push it in. You hear the click, and I'll let that press in for 5 seconds. Now it's coming up automatically, and it pressed that beautifully. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? I love it. Alright, I'm going to grab now my watermelon, and I'm going to angle it the way I think it looks good. So with the heat, it kind of helps it to, not sure if you can see that, but there it is. I'm going to angle it like this, or should I do it like this? No, I'll angle it this way. I think it looks nice like that. So I've just put it on top of where the Cricut heat mat is, and I'm going to angle it like a little to the side. I'll show you just quickly, like that. It's not the best because of the way things are situated. I can't do any better. I might try and bring it up a little bit more. Let's see if I can do a little bit more. Okay, I'll heat press it again for 5 seconds just to be sure. Do that again. Now with the HTV, with the DTV, when it comes out, because it's in one piece, you don't need to use the mask and put on top. Let's finish that. Okay, that's better. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is angle this like so, and I'll make sure it's in the middle. So I'm sorry I'm off camera doing that. I'm off the screen there. But I'm just going to make sure that I do this properly, because I only have one shot of this. Okay. I think I like it where it is. I like that. Okay, so now I'm going to put in some butcher paper to help protect my HTV, and I'm going to now slide it in, and that will go for 15 seconds. This will be my first time using that, so I'm very excited, and I only got this press late last week. It's Tuesday now. I got that. Love how it comes up and you don't have to think about it. I'll take that off. Now let's see, oops, let's see how that worked. It's coming up a little, so I'm going to press it again to ensure that it presses properly. And by George, I think we got it. Alright, I'll switch off my heat press. And I'll leave it on for the time being. I've got another project to do after this, so I think this time it turned out good. 120 degrees I think is better on the HTV Ront with the Caesar Easy Color DTV or HTV. But when you feel it, you can tell there is something on there, but it feels nice and smooth and there's no ridges. So I think it did a really good job with the 5 degrees extra, the 115. Maybe your heat press might be more accurate on that one, Mine, I think, needed to go up by 5 degrees. So that's just this one here. But the pressure is really good. And yeah, I think it needs firm pressure and not less pressure, to be honest. And now it doesn't come up at all. So I'll just show you, it doesn't come up. So it's really stuck down well. I'm very happy with it. It's nice and smooth. So yeah, okay guys. So I will show you the apron on my desk. So I've now finished my project. So you're seeing the exact same view again. But I wanted to show you close up. Now it's been 24 hours since I have done this. And the reason why I'm showing you 24 hours is because the adhesive behind the DTV does take time to cure. It takes 24 hours. Now, the reason why I had so much trouble with repeated, and I mean repeated applications with my heat press to this is not because my heat press had no pressure. It has great pressure actually, and it's not even the DTV's fault in some way. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you print with a high quality photo printer like I have, this is a new printer for me. It's a very high quality Epson ET8550. It prints really well. Now I use the best profile on that printer, which is what the instructions were with the DTV to use. And it lays down a lot of ink. So when you pick the best quality on your printer, you always lay down a lot of ink. And that actually takes time to dry off. I actually did not know that when I attempted it, because I am new to this craft. And I'm having fun learning, by the way. So what I did last night after I had done this is I looked at another video where I will link it in the description below too, because the information this lady says is invaluable. She said that she had contacted Caesar and she had a similar issue where it was not adhering down even after multiple, from my understanding, from multiple heat applications, okay, heat pressing. And Caesar said something interesting, that basically it takes 24 hours or so, if you've laid down a lot of ink with a very good quality photo printer, for it to dry off before you can use it. So that's a tip for you. If you've got a high quality printer, that's what you need to do. You need to let it dry off for 24 hours, or you can lessen the quality of your print and it'll dry faster for you. Now, the application is actually quite beautiful. It's actually quite seamless. You can tell that there is a vinyl on there, but it is very smooth and there is no, like, it's adhered well. So as you can see here, that none of it's coming off now. And also when you fiddle with it, before it's had a chance to cool down and adhere, and you fiddle with it like I was yesterday to try and see if it was adhering down, and I wasn't even pressing hard and it was coming up. And I kept pressing it again and again. Because it was warm, it also will make it come off. So just as a warning, that's something I learned from that. Now, this material of this apron is like linen, but it is a cotton, okay? So I'll just show you that it is cotton, all right? So it's 100% cotton, and it is very thick, okay? It's quite thick. So I think that when you have thicker material and you want to apply the DTV from what I experienced yesterday when I was doing this, is that you may have to increase, I think, both the heat and the time that you press this down. So for me, instead of pressing it at 115 degrees Celsius or 311 Fahrenheit, you need to go up by 5 degrees. So I put mine at 120 degrees Celsius yesterday, and I think that that worked better to adhere it down to a thicker surface. Now, I will do another video to show the HTV Ront as well, because I don't think it is the press's fault. I think the materials, if they're thicker, need, I think, more temperature, a higher temperature, and a longer press time. So instead of, say, 15 seconds, I think we should do 20 seconds. Now, I know that with this particular HTV, it's quite thin, so you don't want to burn it. So you've got to be really careful and just kind of experiment here and there. That was my findings. So, but today, once it's had its 24 hours, it does not come off in any way. It is stuck there. It is really stuck there. I will not be doing a wash test because this is going to be given away, but I will be doing a one for myself, and then on a thinner material. And I am sure that it'll work at the 115 degrees Celsius or 311 Fahrenheit normally with a 15-second press, and I think it'll work well there. So that's what my takeaway from it was. So the thicker the material, I think the longer you have to press it, depending on the material too. So got to be careful. There's no plastics in there and polyesters. If you overdo it, you will melt it and it won't look good. So I can tell from that. So that's my takeaway. And with the Brothers Scan and Cut, usually the half cut works very well with sticker paper and vinyl and things. But I think with this DTV, it needs just that little bit more pressure, just a tiny bit more pressure for it to cut through. Again, with videos that I have seen, most people have said, to my understanding, I may be wrong, you can correct me if you're wrong, if I'm wrong, and then have you know, just post some questions or your comments in, you know, below. I'll welcome those, no problems, because I'm still learning myself. But my understanding was most people also felt that they needed a little bit more pressure. Now, the blade on my Brothers Scan and Cut is not blunt, because I use that only on occasion with cardstock, and I haven't really used it much other than what I've shown you on video. So that's about 2-3 times maybe. So I didn't really use it that much. And it is an auto blade, so I don't really have that much control. However, I did go through the settings. I still use the half cut, and I put it up a couple of notches in terms of the pressure, and that worked incredibly well. So maybe if you're using the Brothers Scan and Cut and you're using the Easy Color DTV from Caesar, maybe put it up a couple of notches depending on how new your blade is as well. If it's getting a bit blunt and you've used it, you know, quite a few times, then you may need to up the pressure on the half cut just that little bit more. So that's my tips to you. But overall, I think this is great. It's actually very smooth to touch, and there's nothing coming off the edges. It is really stuck down and melted into the fabric. I think you can see a little bit of the texture from the apron, but the pattern, because it's a watercolor, if you can see that, it's a beautiful watercolor. It's hard to tell, but it does feel quite smooth, and it feels like it's part of the deal, but you can tell that it is a vinyl. So just letting you know that. But overall, I really had fun. I hope you did too. If you have any questions, any tips, any comments, I welcome those. Let me know if you enjoy this kind of video where I show you projects with you know, heat pressing. I may feature sublimation in the future with coasters. That's something I'm thinking about. Let me know if you want to see those, and I'll be more than happy to make these videos for you. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching, for being so supportive, your lovely comments on average. I really appreciate it. Thank you all, and have a wonderful day. Bye.